Ashabad Street School, which is a school for kids on the street that basically, it's taught through Hindi. And the second place we worked was Dayaran, which is a home for severely mentally challenged and physically challenged children. And the third place we worked was Kalighat, which is Mother Teresa's home for the destitute and dying. I suppose the biggest first experience. I suppose Deva helped us in that. It basically inspired us first to go out there. And when we went out there, we had the tools to deal with the stuff we'd seen in a healthy way. Not to disregard it, but just to kind of control it properly. Like, we each kept a diary. We'd have these discussions that go on for maybe 2 or 3 hours sometimes after each day. And it was because of the stuff we learned in Deva, the public speaking skills, the fact that we were all open with each other. That's really what benefited us so much in it. And I suppose as well, when we came back as well, what I found was really good, the entire school, you'd walk down the corridor and be like, how was India? How was India? It wasn't as if we'd just gone in there, and I suppose everybody knows that we'd gone, and they were all behind us. And it was just really good pat in the back and really kind of reaffirming that we'd actually done something when we were out there.
3 lads from our own school went on and became senior facilitators of the group, of the project, because of learning what we did through development education, and became more involved in something as simple as Horizon Project, which began as a fun weekend in transition year. Basically, in the last gathering that they had, which was only last year, they did the first thing where rather than having it all based upon fun, they actually brought in ex-UBF and ILNA paramilitaries who had been serving life for murder in prison. And it was the first time that they had one person from each side sitting in the same room who had committed bombings or murders of other people. And it's just the fact that because of something like the Horizon Project, that this kind of thing was possible, that peace was brought along this far. And were it not for things like this, that focus on the youth and development education included, this would not have been possible. I mean, I found myself incredibly lucky that I was able to experience this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I'm going to talk about the entire school community and how everybody in the school is engaged in development education. Development education in our school is done in TY, so not every student, you might do it, so not every student has the opportunity. But definitely everyone is engaged in it. Everyone is touched off in some way. And one example is the Peace and Justice group. This was there before development education was around, but it has definitely become more effective, and the numbers have definitely grown since development education has been taken on by our school. The important thing to note is as well is that we debate development issues, and it's important that, you see, we gain this in development education, where before you could come into Peace and Justice and you might say, okay, you might get a leaflet in the door and you'd want to raise money for this charity. But after we did development education, we were more engaged, so we decided to debate on what was the best charity to raise for. Where was the best place to send our money? Who needed it most? And development education definitely allowed us to debate these issues, and it definitely gave us great knowledge. And it's important that 2/3 of our Peace and Justice group has done development education. So the students who have done development education are definitely more aware of development issues. And another group in the school is Green Schools. And you might think, what has Green Schools got to do with the developing world and development education? Well, definitely environmental sustainability is one aspect, but over half our Green Schools committee have done development education. So we were all kind of aware of development issues. And because of this, we decided to take on water scarcity as our main theme last year. And this was kind of done in conjunction with the Peace and Justice group. And we decided we'd have to kind of bring home the message of, say, turn your tap off, of the little things that we can do as individuals. And we also decided to look at how would this affect not just us, but people in the developing world. And we discovered that the classes that were doing development education already had already they've done this, they've learned about this. So if we could tell them how this is helping people in the developing world, then they might be more influenced. There has always been debating in our school, concern debates and different types of debates, but definitely since the development education course, we've been more aware of the issues. There was an issue, development aid is a waste of money. And we also did the DSI debates, where we debated ethical issues in relation to the developing world, so ARVs, antiretroviral drugs, and genetically modified foods. And I can definitely say, without development education, there would have been no way we would have been able to really engage in these issues. Because not only did we know the science behind it from our science courses, but it was also linked into development education. whereby we were able to relate to the developing world. And then you will continue all your work, like you'll stay on the Peace and Justice Group, you'll stay on Green Schools, you'll continue working with the Millennium Development Goal campaign. We're going to produce a report on it, we're meeting regularly, having meetings, we're going to go to the Dáil. Definitely this subject, even though your class time is finished in it, it would not leave you, and your students, you'll find, will definitely want to continue it on in their further years in school and after school as well. And this was just part of some of the work we were doing. And it's important that as teachers, that when you're in the classroom, it's different from, because in other classrooms, like say your French, your English, your Irish, your maths, you're there at the front of the classroom and you're kind of teaching the students. But in development education, you become as though you're one of the students, you're with the students, and they're able to engage with you and debate with you. And then you have all the knowledge, you know the course. And the students definitely will respect you greatly because they will be able to have conversation with you, adult conversation with you, because development issues are definitely adult things that teenagers are totally able to engage in, and they are able to engage with you as a teacher, and definitely you will gain a huge amount of respect within the school and a huge amount of pleasure from teaching students that just know so much about development work and development issues. So.
There's kind of also a thing with development education is you find that some students are better with sport, they're better with their own kind of different skills. There's a certain group of students who might be too quiet or they wouldn't be willing to get involved in all these things. Development education kind of gives them the confidence to either get involved in public speaking, get involved in spreading awareness about different things. It gives everyone in the school something to participate in, something to represent their school in. And even like the idea of the Human Rights Campaign, which the 60th anniversary is this year, or today even, is that it's one human for another, and everyone's equal. And finally, it's just that education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. And it's, nothing can be truer said about development education. Thank you.
I just had a question for, I think it's Sean, is about Fair Touch.
Yeah.
Do you feel very much that you were very much on the outside looking in when you went into a lot of these places?
No, there was just, because I suppose places are so, they're equipped for volunteers, all the places we went to work for, there was this, you were welcome instantly. There was never a feeling like that you were excluded or anything like that.
For me, definitely, like say in 5th year and 6th year, at the start of 5th year, I wanted to have done law, but I wasn't sure what area. But then after, like, from looking back on my experience in development education, from going to Brussels, and researching it more, I definitely kind of think maybe like human rights law is one area.
Or no, I know myself, like, because as Mr. Hogan was saying, there's a lot of people who have been to Calcutta who go back to things like Nicaragua and things through initiatives in college. I know myself, I was looking at science and I was going to just go do bioscience and like that. But I think now that because of studying development education, I might go more towards climate science to look at environmental sustainability, or else do some kind of developing world disease science.